Hi creative friends, this is Soraya and thank you so much for being here. So today I'm going to do something just a little bit different. I'm going to be doing my initial sketch using my non-dominant hand. Now, even though I am not going to do the entirety of the spread with my left hand, by me doing this, I'm setting the tone for, the second layers and the third layers, etc. So the first thing I'm going to do is just wet my Stabilo so that my marks can show up on the camera. But, if you wanted to use an HB pencil, that's fine. But I'm just going to go, just dive right in. So the thing about using your non-dominant hand, at least it is for me, is that it might seem to be more anxiety producing, but actually it frees me up so much because I'm not really expecting a whole lot. Like, I'm not expecting to draw anything that resembles like a face or a figure or whatever. Like, I'm so much more free because my expectations are so low. Like, I'm just surprised that I can even draw with it because obviously it's not my dominant hand. So, my motor skills are not that great in my left hand. But the second reason I love working in this way is because my lines are so emotive. Like, they're interesting and they're different. And unexpected things can happen. Plus, there's a lot of science that explains how using your non-dominant hand accesses parts of our brain that are our creativity centers because, it's allowing us to look at things from a different perspective. And I'm not sure what the exact science is behind it, but it's really fascinating. And honestly, I came to using my left hand not in drawing or art, but when I was in therapy, I used my non-dominant hand to journal. And I mean journal like writing. And I will make a separate video about it, but I even have a book that talks about it at length, and it's really so interesting. It's really like magic, honestly. So I wanted there to be like a little sun there, and I'm gonna place a figure that's like, say, over here, and part of it is gonna overlap into this page. Now it might seem like the figure that I drew here is not, I mean, it's not that much different from the figures I normally do with my right hand, but I think the difference is going to be when I do the facial features. So I'm just gonna get the figures down and then I'll go into the facial features. And like I said, I'm not even going for like a realistic kind of a look, and you're going to see this especially when I start doing my eyes and nose, etc., because I mean things can really get a bit wonky, which is totally fine. I mean, I kind of want that, and if, like, if I need to make, like, say I made that chin over there, but then I made a double line, like if you need to make like 3 or 4 lines, and that is the way it is with drawing anyways. Like, even if I was using my dominant hand, like sometimes you have to search for your line. And what that means is, like, you have to, maybe it's going to take you 3 or 4 or 10 tries to get the line you want. And that's totally, totally fine. Now, because this is mixed media, of course, there's going to be lots of layers and stuff's going to get covered up, etc., etc. So I'm not expecting there to be, I'm not expecting this to hold up, but it is going to give me like a really great foundation, for whatever's to come. And let's see here. Now, I really love the emotive eyes, You know, I really do. I just feel like it's so expressive. Now, the mouth turned out a bit wonky, but that's okay. That's okay. We're just gonna roll with it. And you'll be really surprised by your drawings, I guarantee you. And even if you don't like the entire drawing that you do, like maybe you'll like parts of it. Like even if you only like 20% of it, that is enough to say, hey, you know what? I really like this 20%, so I'm gonna build off of that. So a fun fact is, because I've been really fortunate to visit a lot of amazing museums, and I do have an interest in art history, and I also studied a whole year of art history in university, but a lot of artists, they did not complete their works. So say Leonardo da Vinci, the Mona Lisa is not complete. I think it's like 60% complete, which I didn't even know that. But it's really interesting. And a lot of artists, they, you know, if they make a small part of a painting that they like, they work off of that. So just say they do a painting and they only like 10%, then they work off that 10%. And the thing is, what you may not like in a piece of art to another person, like a viewer who's looking at it, they are not going to have that same perspective. So they might look at it and be like, wow, I really love this, you know? But anyways, that's not the point. The point is when you're making your art, you're making it, you know, for you. Now, back in the, you know, in the 14 and 15, 1600s, of course, you know, artists didn't have that luxury of painting for themselves. They had to meet very strict standards. Okay, so I'm going to just put some yellow down. Now, because I do have that blue Stabilo, some of it's going to be green, and that's totally fine. I'm not really worried about, you know, color purity right now. Like all those little mishaps can be really beautiful. And let me see here. I'm just going to kind of bring some here. And as you can see, this looks like extremely, I don't know, what's the word? I mean, it looks very, you know, it is expressive and emotive, but, you know, obviously, like the lines are very, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but like she's got 3 chins, which is kind of interesting, you know. And I'm just gonna kind of put that over there. And now I do want to have a juicy mess, but I don't want to have a horrible juicy mess. You can get a horrible mess as well, and I don't want that. So I am going to apply some tea bags, and then I'm going to try not to mess around too much with this because it is still wet. So let me see where I want to place my tea bags. I think I want to place one over there. My other piece, I think, is going to maybe go over here. And I do have pieces of my collage from the art journal page that I messed up because I applied Mod Podge and then I thought it was completely dry and it wasn't. So my page stuck together and I turned it into collage. So I'm going to try to use some of that as well. So what I am going to do is I'm also going to add some dictionary pages here. Like I just want to lay it over top of the tea bag. And that's one of the really great things about working like this is I'm in this playful mode anyways. Like I'm not taking things too seriously. So it allows me to just step outside my comfort zone and really just say, you know what, anything goes. And normally I might not think to put the dictionary pages over top of the tea bags, but I just think that that's going to be a really cool addition. And all I'm doing right now is just building up my page. And I need to add another tea bag, so I think I'm just gonna add some dictionary pages, tea bags. I'm just kind of throwing everything at the page, really. Now, like I said, I do have some pieces of collage here. And, well, first I think I'm just going to add more dictionary pieces here. And now these pieces are really thick because it's the Strathmore art journal, and then I put like different papers and everything. But man, I am just really loving this piece over here. And I think I'm going to save it for later because I don't want to add it too soon. But let me see here. I've got some really delicious pieces. So this over here is part of a composition notebook. And I think it's got a tea bag on it too, actually. So see where I can add it. So I'm really loving the, like how I'm building up the page here because it's not like super bright colors, but it's got a lot of interest and texture. And I'm really loving that actually. And after I worked in my last Painting the Feminine spread with, Connie Solera's book, I am getting just a little bit more comfortable with having some kind of busyness in the background, whereas normally it would fry my brain. It would really kind of frazzle me. But I'm kind of getting a little bit more comfortable with doing that. So I'm hoping as I work more in her journal, Painting the Feminine, I will, say, hey, maybe I can kind of, add some kind of interest to the background and not be, like, not scramble up my brain. I hope I'm making sense. Okay, you guys, I think I'm just gonna let this completely dry because I don't want to, I want the Stabilo to not run. I want to retain those lines that I did. But I'm really loving the direction that this is going in. So I'm going to let this dry and I will come back to it. And if you've watched all the way to the end, thank you so much. Bye.